What's up, buddy? How are you?
What's going on today, Frank? I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. We kicked this thing off. I don't know if it's going to be jumping around the internet or on the socials as a little dead link, but
I see it live, so I'm
sweet.
We'll add
watching.
that
I got
last.
it.
We'll add that last clip on the YouTube. No problem.
All right. Well, we were on a roll talking about our days, and I had I had a funny one for you. My victory this week was a huge sale in stormwater, another huge sale, over $115,000 stormwater system in a driveway. That's at that size in the last 4 weeks. So this is now becoming a ritual routine. I'm very pumped about it. But what else am I doing? I had a roof and gutter system sale, and to get this job, I had to go. It reminded me of like a Hansel and Gretel or like a kid's storybook where like little old lady living in a little cottage. I mean, it was like 24 square roof, nothing big,
Yeah.
and 140 feet of gutter or something like that. Small job. It's on my social media profile. But anyway, to get the sale, this lady's this little old hunched over woman that lives alone. She's from the Netherlands. She's straight out of Amsterdam. Heavy
Oh, no
accent.
kidding.
Oh yeah, she's the real deal. And like all the house interiors, Dutch art, and like very much an implant ripped right out of Amsterdam and put in Greenwich, Connecticut. Long story short, I get inside the house. I set the sales call, or the office set the sales call. I get to the house. Sometimes, you don't know if they're going to bring you to the kitchen table, especially if they're older and they're tentative. You don't know if they're going to let you in. So she lets me in, and immediately I'm like overcome with the smell of cigarettes. I mean, this lady must smoke 3 packs a day, every day, inside the house without cracking a window by herself, and just hammers those things.
Nice yellow tint on everything.
Bro, yellow tint on me walking through her house. It was like a cloak of sadness that I put on when I walked in there. I was like, oh, like immediately I knew what I was in for, and I was like so sad. Then she's like, sit down, and it's all over the leather couch, and like anything I touched was just like I'm in a sea of disgust. So
Yep.
I just held my breath and kind of trooped through it. I got the sale. What did I have to do? I had to come back the next day for a deposit check, and same thing. Come
You
inside.
bought a change of clothes that day.
When I
right?
left the house, yeah. So it's sad when you're there, and then you think when you leave, you're like, oh, thank God, I have this like gasp of fresh air. But
Right.
the opposite. I actually get outside and I smell myself now. How disgusting I am from being inside of there. So I've been like, this is like my own little Seinfeld episode. The last like 10 days with this lady, like day one, then it's like go back to get the contract signed, get the deposit check. Then during the job, I had to knock on the door, and it was come in. Like I don't know if she's going to kick me into the oven and bake an apple pie with my head, or just keep smoking cigarettes on my skull. I don't know what's going on, bro. But sometimes you got to take a hit for the team, and I probably lost a few months of life on that one.
There you go.
I mean, it was like being in a house fire. And
Yeah.
speaking of, we have a firefighter on tonight, don't we?
We do. We've got a stud firefighter on. I met
Awesome.
him about a year and a half ago, and his wife. So really excited to have Drew and Pamela on today. Um, yeah. Do we want to like intro them and bring them in?
Tell us a little bit about him before we bring him out.
Okay, cool. So I met them about a year and a half ago. Drew was like, "Man, I'm doing this gutter thing on the side. I'm a full time firefighter, and I feel like I'm just leaving a lot on the table." And I think it was his brother in law, was like, "Dude, you can do so much better with this thing. Like, blow this thing up. Like, invest in yourself, make it happen." And so he got on a call, and they joined Gutter Launch. So it's him and Pamela now, and they have taken this thing and just like, I mean, he hasn't been on the truck now. He hasn't installed gutters in like 4 or 5 months or something. I think he said. Just like boom, 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 boom. They've hired sales reps, and Pamela's selling like a lunatic, and it's just like it's
Savannah,
awesome.
Georgia, right? Savannah people.
Savannah, Georgia.
Cool
Yeah.
spot. Very fun place.
I've never been, and they're like, "Oh, Colin, you got to come down sometime," and I need to. But
We're going to talk. We're going to ask them about the Savannah Bananas because I saw some special on
dude,
about that baseball team and the owner and how.
it's amazing. That is such a cool.
Yeah,
Like, I follow him on social media because I'm like, this dude is a marketing mastermind. It's incredible what he's done. So,
Yeah. No, beyond that, right? I mean,
right.
put it this way. I picked up the phone. I'm a New York Mets fan, as some of you know, and I was looking at tickets and doing that thing. And I picked up the phone to look at them, and right there in the feed, and maybe because who knows, all these phones track all of your activity. Maybe they heard the Savannah Bananas thing I was watching on TV the other night, but there it is, Savannah Bananas in ticket sales, playing in Yankee Stadium, and they're already like sold out in September.
Dude, they've sold out like all of the major stadiums. They're
It's
traveling
crazy.
all over. They're coming to Grand Rapids, playing at. We got the Whitecaps here in Grand Rapids, and
Nice.
sold out. Boom! It's just like, oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
it's not baseball anymore. It's just it's entertainment.
Yeah,
He hit it all on the head. It's like everybody
literally P.T. Barnum round 2.
100%. Hey,
Right.
just before we bring them out, a couple shout outs to our audience. I'm looking at this feed. Kyle Greer, what's up, buddy? Seth Forestier, what's up, buddy? Ryan Smith, thanks for tuning in, dude. Got some good names on here. Very good.
Right. Owen Cervoni, one of our guests. Was he last week or 2
Where is
weeks
he?
ago?
Oh, and there he is. Definitely understand the struggle.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? Thanks for joining us. So let's bring out our guests. Let's get to
Awesome. Cool, everybody. Welcome my friend Drew and Pamela Hornick. You're not on yet.
Welcome.
You're gonna put them on, George. There we go. There we go.
Hey,
What
what's
is
up,
that?
guys? Thanks
How
for
are
having
you
me.
guys today?
Yeah, doing good.
Good.
Yeah, it's funny you were saying that about the Savannah Bananas. Jesse, that dude is just a freaking genius, dude. Like,
He
he's
must be highly popular around town, huh?
oh yeah, and he's like a cool dude too. Like he's like the real deal, you know. Like he is super motivational and like he has a lot of good things to say in the youth in town. And
Cool.
it used to be the Sand Gnats, Savannah Sand Gnats.
That's right. Yep.
Like long history, a lot of history, and super famous people, I guess, came out of there. I'm not the biggest baseball guy, but I know that he bought it, or whatever their company is, and they just flipped it, and then they got into a league, and then they were winning championships, and then let's just make up our own game, right? Savannah, or was it Banana Ball? Like,
yeah, Banana Ball.
Yeah.
like, just crushing.
You can't bunt. Like, there's no bunting. They got some crazy rules.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
Funny.
definitely cool.
Entertainment.
They got a banana beer too that they have by a local company called Service Brewing, so they got it all.
Nice.
No kidding.
You guys get out to games?
Like, do you see him? Is Savannah
Sure.
small enough where like you just see this guy walking down the street and stuff, or what?
Yeah, I mean, like,
He's always in a yellow suit too, right? He's like
oh,
he's like
yeah.
the guy in
Every
Curious George,
yeah, yeah.
the man in the yellow hat.
No, Savannah is like it's a humongous city. Like I'm not from here. Pamela's from an hour west, but it's so weird. Just especially having our company now and being involved in the community so much. It's like, oh, do you know? Oh yeah, I know.
Mhm.
It's like everybody knows
Yeah.
everybody. It's a
Right.
it's a big small town. It's
Well,
big,
heck,
right?
you're a firefighter too, so you're kind of tied up in that stuff too, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Very cool. So, when was the first time you touched a rain gutter? Let's get down to the nitty gritty here.
Right.
Give it to us straight, man. When was the first time you touched a rain gutter and like knew what end of it you were gonna mess with?
Oh, I guess it must have been like 2013.
Alright.
Yeah, I got into the fire department, and one of my first partners at the fire department had like a 6K, and he was just running it like it was just an open trailer, like just a tarp over it, and like had some ladders, and he's an amazing dude. But anyway,
Is he still doing it?
no, he actually I think they ended up leaving town and doing something. And anyway, he moved to Louisiana. His wife is like at one of the hospitals, but yeah, they moved back, and I'm not sure actually. I haven't really kept in touch with him. I don't do it to social media. Pamela kind of keeps me up to date with that stuff, but
Sure.
so I don't really know. But anyway, he was a great guy and kind of showed me, and of course, I was like tired of making no money, and as a fireman, and I have a background in construction. Just my whole family is contractors in Florida.
Yeah.
And like my uncle's still down there, really popular in Central Florida. That's where I'm from. And my grandpa owned a bunch of stuff in Miami or Hollywood, just around that area.
Cool.
And that's where my dad grew up. Anyway, he came up to Central Florida, built like a campground, all kinds of cool stuff. So I kind of had a history in that. And when I was out of college, just rambling, I'll do that throughout this whole show.
No, man, talk.
You're good, man. You're
But
good.
anyway, trying to get in, originally I was trying to be a, PGA professional golfer, not like
Really?
on the tour, but just to teach golf. And I had a scholarship. And anyway, how I ended up in Georgia was because I played at South Georgia College and on a scholarship. But I didn't know you had to study and keep your grades up. So
You
yeah,
wouldn't be first.
yeah, after I lost my eligibility, my parents moved up to Savannah because the crash happened like real bad,
Yeah.
This was in 2011. We moved to Savannah like November, or no, it was January or something like that. 2011 anyway. Started getting bad in Central Florida. So
I hear it's still starting to get bad.
Yeah. It's Central Florida. It's just kind of like you think of Florida, you got beaches and stuff like that. Disney, yeah. All there is old people and orange groves and cattle where I'm from. So,
Right.
Anyway, it was a great childhood though. I had fun growing up there. So we had like free reign of everything. But anyway, going back to that, so I was doing construction. My dad's like, "You're not going to do construction, you're not going to make any money." And he's like, "Go be a fireman." I was like, "Great, now I can make even less money." And now
It's tough, though. You did the right thing, right? I mean, it's leveraging that awesome freedom.
yeah, no, it's like my passion, and that's why honestly, it's just amazing. Like I love it. So it's not the money. You don't get into it for the money because you're not going to make any. So you do it making it back and try to change people's lives, especially in like their darkest time. So we're going to the call and helping them out, and literally.
You guys are superheroes for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm always like a little bit jealous of firefighters.
Are you?
I'm an adrenaline junkie
myself,
and like I mean I've lit my forest on fire and stuff. Just like what I got it. I got a skid steer and
control burn.
I cut a line. I'm good, and it didn't work out. I had to call the fire department for help. So. But I like it. Like I always tell my wife all the time, like, you think I could do like volunteer firefighting? Because I don't know. I just think it'd be fun. And she's like,
yeah, why you're not doing that?
Yeah, she's like, with what time you wouldn't make it to any calls. So
that's my situation.
Yeah, right. That's funny. We hear that superhero, of course. Like you got that person that would think that you're a superhero, but spend 15 to 20 minutes in a firehouse, and you can be like, "Oh, these guys."
Which knuckleheads. Club. It's good though.
I mean, the Brotherhood. It's literally a frat house. I mean, it's like the goofiest, most rough and tough, but silliest, childish people you ever met.
But they turn on the serious.
Yeah.
In an instant.
Oh yeah.
So when that bell rings, it's game on. We gotta go.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Well, when he's looking, we're goofing off behind their back.
So I heard something about you, and I kind of want to dissect it. You don't hang gutters. Was there a point when you actually did, like early on when you guys first got into gutter? Did you hang gutter? Were you out up on the ladder, or were you guys able to parlay this whole thing and bring guys in and just build the business and play owner?
No. She was hanging and banging. She was.
Yeah. All right. My girl. Nice.
Let's go.
When the job was big enough and he couldn't handle it by himself, he'd call me and say, "Hey, I'm at this house. Can you come hold the gutter for me?" I'm like, "Okay, I'm on my way. Let me go drop a kid off with somebody."
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then we have had a few times where
they would be running around in the yard.
Yeah. I mean, it was literally like we were trying to do our best, but it was like the definition of chucking a truck. Except like the bad business part,
chucking his wife in a truck.
Yeah. And the little baby. I'm not,
and the little 2-year-old.
Not stealing their money by no means, but definitely just like what is going. People loved it though, I think.
Yeah. Hey, you do what you must.
Yeah.
You can play on that pretty well. Like there's a lot of Amish and Mennonite and things like that up around here. And like it's like admirable to a lot of people. Like, look at that. There's 7-year-olds working on the roof with them. And it's like, Not by choice. But
Yeah.
people, I don't know. It's just something. I don't know. That's something. Some people are like, yeah, it's wrong, and other people are like, oh, that's so cool. And so you can spin it however
No
you
right
want.
answers on that, right?
Right. Exactly. So how so you started helping your buddy in 2013. When did you guys start your own business?
2019. So I was involved in like another department. So I was full time somewhere, and then I had to work at another department just to pay the bills. And our daughter was born in 18, so it was like, oh yeah, we're doing fine. Like, paying all the bills, and she was going, she was finishing up college, and because we married in 16, June of 16, I remember.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yep.
Good job.
Good job.
Yeah, my man.
I couldn't tell you the date, or the actual day, but I remember the month. Anyway, but yeah, so it was like, yeah, we're not, it's not cutting it, right? So I'm sick and tired of this. Let's just buy a truck, I had a truck. Let's buy a trailer. So I bought a 5-inch machine from a guy down in Brunswick and paid like $5,500, and it was like $6,000. And I was like, I'll give you 55. And he's like, I'm taking all the drills. And I was like, fine. And then I was like, drills. I was like,
But
dang
that
it.
big 500 came with the ladders and a bunch of
Oh
tools.
yeah, oh yeah.
It was the whole setup.
Oh
Nice.
yeah, it was ugly as sin. Yeah.
How'd you get that money? Had you saved it, or did you have to go like get a loan or borrow from mom and dad, or what?
Yeah, so I had a little bit, but no, my mom and dad gave me $5,500, and me and my dad went down there and picked it up, and didn't realize, I got the truck, I got a new hitch on my, a ball and hitch, and I'm like, cool. Go to buy it, go to back up, and it's a 2-inch ball, and it's I think a 2 5/16 ball. So
Yeah.
Had to go to Home Depot, which was nowhere close, and come back, and then driving it down the
Pulled an Arnold Schwarzenegger.
like
I'll be back.
going down 95, and it's just like
Yeah. Not ready for it.
yeah, it was awesome.
Dial that baby in.
Yep.
Yeah, and then we just were like, whatever. I don't even know, honestly, how we started advertising. I think, honestly, we got our start on Angie's.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law was
Okay.
like, try something, and I was like, all right, cool. And I remember I did a house on 52nd Street, and got my first house. I'm like, cool, and it was like $2,200, like, and it was a lot of gutter, and I'm like, yeah.
Let's go.
This is what it's going to be. I think I was charging like $8 a foot with no downspouts or something like, something like that, maybe even less. And the guy's like, all right, wrote a check and handed it to me. I'm like, just looking at it. I'm like,
Yep.
what do I do with this? Like,
Frame it, but I got to bring it to the bank.
yeah. And then I remember and anyway, won that job. And I'm like, Pamela, look at this. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to pay the mortgage today.
That's right.
And then I went to go get materials, and I'm like, get materials, and they're like, all right, it's like, $1,100 in materials. And I'm like, what happened? Like, obviously I did something wrong, and I remember I had to put it on a personal credit card.
Yeah, it's a truth, right? It's
I had to put it on a personal credit card because they wouldn't give me an account, because like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, I guess at that point,
Where were you buying material at the time?
so we did it at Town and Country. Yeah, it was Town and Country. Town and Country, or
It's a minivan, not a supply house.
Yeah, Town and Country, or ABC Metals, I guess it is. I don't know. It's like dual ABC or Town and Country, but
Sure.
anyway, we use a different supplier, a local guy now that they've been here for like 40 years in Savannah. But
Nice.
Cool.
but anyway, loaded it up and went to town. Took me a whole week to do the house.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. And I'm like, I got my levels out on the downspouts, and I'm like, boom. And then my uncle's a contractor, and he rolled up, and he was like, yeah, like, can I inspect it for me? He's like, looking at the downspout. He's like, hey, buddy, I know you used a level. That's great. You're not framing a house. Like, the downspout looks like, I was like, but it's level. He's like, yeah, but look at the house and the
Yeah.
He's like, you kind of got to like fake it a little bit anyway. So it's just little stuff like that, trying to learn. Like, I did not retain apparently any information that my buddy taught me. So
It's we all have that mentor, right? And then it's just sweat equity. You just got to go out there and do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
when did Pamela really start getting involved?
Oh no, you probably. I mean, I guess pretty quick, because like I would just have my buddies from the firehouse. Like if it was over like 35, 40 foot, like I'd have just like one of my buddies come out for $100 and help me hang it. But pretty quick, she wasn't involved in any of the phone calls or the admin like side money wise or nothing. She just see me coming home with fat stacks, which I thought it was at the time. It's maybe $200 today.
There you go.
And then, but obviously when we got hooked up with Gutter Launch, that's when we decided to like really, sink it in and
Tell us about Gutter Lunch. How was your experience? How's Colin doing with that?
Oh yeah, like we haven't been on much lately, so but I mean it's literally, we launched. I mean we went from I was doing it by myself, making like 20 grand, just that side hustle, like I said, just making some bills, going on vacation, and we literally launched. Like our accountant even said, was like, "Yep, yeah, you definitely launched in 2024. That's for sure."
Love it.
So, but yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, right off the bat, like our faith means everything to us. So, we just felt good right away. We didn't really, leading up to it, we had conversations. But, it just felt pretty right. And just everything leading up to it just felt like it had to happen. So,
excellent.
Yeah. And then we dove in and then
so you have that lifeline, right? You guys could call in and jump on the calls as needed.
Oh yeah. And the program is literally so straightforward. Like it literally gives you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
So you start in the first little thing, and then it just builds on top and just.
We're not going to reveal too many secrets. You just
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I don't want to like spend too much time on that on this podcast, but
it literally changed our everything. I mean, we're pretty reserved and pretty shy, and I'm just a goofball, and it's got us out of our shells. Right, that's like one of the biggest things that's been super cool. Like, and then
that's a refreshing approach to hear. I like this.
Yeah.
And how do you explain that? How so? Just by having to communicate and be on video calls and contribute, that sort of thing?
Yep. I never, and Pamela like had a little bit, especially during COVID. She's a art teacher, but she just been a stay-at-home mom the whole time. And subbing and whatever and doing things like that. She had to do Zoom calls, but I never, like my first Zoom call, I think was with Colin, like on the intro. Like I never did stuff like that, even during.
This is helping you in sales when you get to strangers' houses or dealing with the phone even?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely Pamela. Like I just noticed, just obviously being together for, almost 13 years, we, just like she could sell better than most, people that have been doing this for 30 years, like she's got it.
Wow.
The girls get it quick, man. My wife's kicking ass and keeping me on my toes. I can't sleep. I can't sleep or flex on whatever my efforts are because she's right behind me doing her thing. And I'm like, whoop, like, it's like running a marathon. You can't stop and have a ham sandwich. She's going to run right behind me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm glad you guys are enjoying Colin's program. I've heard a lot of good things, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah. It's definitely life-changing for sure, just all around. So, yep, and then just getting better,
So where do we go from here with the business? I mean, is this you didn't name numbers, and I'm not necessarily nosy enough to poke, but it sounds like your numbers drastically changed in the last 12 months.
Yeah.
Is this I mean, how many more years do you have in a firefighting gig?
Yeah.
And then is this are you trying to build this thing where it's the family business? Like where are we going with this?
Yeah, so our logo is like extremely important to us. It's kind of like I guess I get that from my last name's everything too. Hornick's like that's what I was taught my whole life. That's what you got. It's your name.
Awesome.
It's your everything. I'm super proud of my last name. I'm super proud of the men that that had my last name before me and taught, me everything that I need to do. Amazing dudes, tough, like
That's awesome.
hardcore, scary dudes. I'm nothing like those guys. Not even in my
Love it.
no. Yeah. So tough dudes. And so anyway, our brand is everything, like extremely proud. So it's a brand that we want to stick around. We want to sear into people's, brains, not because of, we want to be the richest people in Savannah, right? We don't want to have, that'd be whatever, whatever happens. But it's just the fact that we want to provide that good customer service, as corny as that sounds. And we want to just do a good job. That's like literally it. Like my motto for the fire department, my shifts. So I'm in charge of a shift. I'm a captain and just moving towards, I just got announced battalion chief. Starting May 3rd, battalion chief. So I'm in charge of 10 guys and
Congrats.
Nice.
in a company. Yeah. So anyway, our motto for that, part of my French, is that we don't do shit work. So
That's right.
that's literally on our cups, we're going to be making t-shirts. It'll have like the little hashtag. So we're not like, get in trouble or whatever. But like literally that's like our whole business here too. It's to be a blessing, but like also like we're not gonna shortchange you with some shoddy work. Like it's extremely important to us.
Right.
So
How's competition down there? Is there a lot of talent and a lot of contractors? Or
yeah, so I think so. We definitely learned a lot of to overcome adversity and people trying to get you down and say just of course negative things and untrue things about our work just because it's human nature, right? But there's some good guys down here for sure, like excellent work, and I don't really even call it competition because there's so much work that it's not a competition really. It's just
right.
you're competing with yourself.
That's right.
That's it. You're competing with yourself. That's exactly it. So whatever your output is, whatever you can achieve, the other guys, short of saying some untrue things or trying to badmouth, they can't. You're the one that's going to be the stumbling block.
Yeah. One thing that like I've been writing down, it's just like my little quote that I've been doing is comparison is the thief of joy. So that's just been, in my head literally for the past, I guess, since the beginning of the year. I write it down in my book almost every day. And I think Theodore Roosevelt actually said it, but I don't
That's
know.
one of the deadly sins I never really understood was envy. I just, I'm so hard on myself, so wrapped up in trying to set goals and achieve them and chase them, that it takes all my time, it takes all my energy.
You're saying you've never struggled with envy?
No, I don't really get. I've certainly looked at things and said, "Oh, I'd like that, maybe," but
right.
never envy, like in its classic by its classic definition, where you see some teenage, like it's like a immature mentality as far as I see it. Like,
True.
but a lot of people suffer from it. Envy makes people do some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
That's
I guess you're right. Like the truest definition of envy is like not liking somebody because of their success, and like
or coveting or wanting what they have.
Right. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. I guess I could honestly say that I don't think I've ever struggled with that form of envy. I think more along the lines of what you said, like, oh man, like they got that thing figured out. How do I do that? Or like, man, that's a cool car. How do I get myself one of those? Or whatever.
Well, just for people listening to stuff, like, if there's one thing you could do among a million other things, it's, curbing that, like the comparison, exactly what was just said, right? Like, stop comparing. Just look in the mirror, improve yourself, focus on that. There was a question that just popped up, and I want from the audience, how do you fare with storms? What kind of storms have you guys encountered since you've been in business? And how does that affect your business for good, for bad, or for otherwise?
Yeah, like actually storms too.
I know the Savannah River, overcomes.
Yeah. So yeah, we actually like actual storms. We had a snowstorm that shut us down for almost a week in Savannah. It was ridiculous.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, it was like,
Yeah.
It hadn't snowed for 8 years.
Was it like 2 inches?
I think it was actually like 4, which
Yeah, it was a pretty big
Yeah.
snowstorm.
I tell you what.
But
I'll
I
tell
mean,
you about
if you
like
ever have it,
I call that Monday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and then we
But
had
yeah,
hurricane.
y'all aren't prepared for that type of stuff like we are.
No.
No.
no
But-
salt, sand.
Yeah, it was sad though. Like a bunch of not. And the cool thing about it was every single gutter we installed, we never got a call back on the weight of the snow because of just how far we place our hangers.
Spacing.
Yeah, we put our hangers really close together and we use really good hangers. So and good installers, but a lot of gutters were just ripped off. We had a whole almost. I feel like the month of January was just going back and installing storm damage really.
Rehanging. Yeah.
So that kind of, was ebbs and flows of that. But then we had a hurricane too, actual storms. But
Do you guys? I mean, I was down there. I feel like during a flood event when I lived down there as a kid. I was there in my I was 21. I took a break from college and ran away with a couple of buddies and bartended in Savannah and had a blast. And then I was like, all right, let's go back to college. Let's go finish. Is it like a storm city? Like I forget. Like I wasn't a contractor when I was a kid. Is it like, are you dependent or pivot on storms? Does that keep you guys popping or?
I mean, it definitely is. It definitely is nice when it rains because the phones start ringing like crazy. But
like not hail or big tornadoes or anything like that. No,
I mean,
insurance claim type storms.
Yeah, which that's one thing we're trying to get into. We're trying to figure that out. I made a few contacts on that, so we're kind of working towards hopefully getting into that. But anyway, it's still in the incipient phase there, very beginning. But anyway, yeah, I mean we've had some struggles like just leading up though, like not internal storms between us, not between us, but just it's having to come out of our shell and really just trying to just do it and make it happen. I mean, this winter got pretty dicey there for a second, on funds. We didn't prepare really.
Yeah.
We made it through. I mean, we ended up getting into soft washing a little bit and washing some houses and keeping the guys busy. But one thing that we're super proud of, unless it was a storm day, rain day, whatever, we didn't go one day last year without the guys be like, hey guys, you ain't got no work. Sorry. We didn't go one day. So that was a blessing for sure.
Yeah.
And that's doing almost no contractor work, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys are pretty much all retail, maybe a couple contractors, but
yeah, not much, already this year we're getting on board with a lot more and onboarding the contractors and a bunch of, what am I trying to call them?
Well, a couple of roofers.
Yeah, so that we hitting that.
Remodeling, mostly remodeling. So they're remodeling a house and need to take the gutters down and put some gutters up.
Yeah.
We did a little bit of work for Union Mission, which is it's
like a nonprofit. They get people back on their feet so that are struggling, homeless, and they house them.
Cool.
So yeah, we did actually a lot of work for them, which was super cool. And trying to get into the Habitat for Humanity's like our goal this year, which we made a contact last year, but we want to install free gutter systems on their Habitat homes.
Right.
Just donate them and do
very cool.
So, but yeah,
bigly. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. So they haven't had one that needed them or built, but I was like, every house, in my opinion, needs gutters, right? Of course.
Right.
Everything. Every shed, every structure.
Every shed, everything. Let's go.
Every kid's
porta potty, everything.
Yeah, house, birdhouse, whatever you need.
Pamela, speak for the ladies, if you would.
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's move on to Pamela. Drew, stop talking.
She's
For the ladies, tell us about what it's like as a woman in the industry. We don't hear enough from the ladies. We'd love to just get your take on it while we have you on the call for sure.
Yeah, so I kind of just started out, like I said, if Drew needed some help, I would go, just hold the gutter for him. Getting up on the ladders wasn't too crazy. I'm not really afraid of heights, so that was, okay with me. And then once he started having some like consistent help, then I sort of moved into like social media, posting stuff, phone calls, which is what I was going to say earlier, is really brought me out of my comfort shell because I do not like to talk on the phone. But since we've got this business started, that's what I have to do all day, every day.
Yeah.
Talk on the phone.
Yep.
So,
Just got to do it.
yeah, and I've gotten so much better at it. So that's been good. I started off with a little script and read off a piece of paper. And then once I kind of got more comfortable, now I just randomly call people. So
A couple of things I want to stop and just kind of identify, because this is so cathartic. We're learning about so many heavy things here. For one, you guys both said about 10 minutes ago how you came out of your shell, and that was part and parcel to Colin's program. And now you're talking about scripting, your phone calls and how that has helped you. So, look, this is not an uncommon theme. So many guys at home, maybe they might be straight antisocial,
guys and girls
with their hands, women as well. But all right, I'm going to get into a contracting business. I'm going to swing a hammer. I'm going to do a roof. I'm going to do rain gutters, whatever. They forget that critical element, which is we have to sell the damn jobs before we get them, right?
exactly.
Or somebody does, right? And if we're doing this keep it in the family deal, which that's how I run my program too. My wife is, lockstep with me running one of the divisions. I run another. It works. But yeah, what don't you like about talking on the telephone? What particularly bothers you about it?
I
or
don't know.
what did bother you?
Right. You've overcome that now.
I don't know because I don't know the person. So, but I guess
So
mainly
that
because,
pleasantries type of deal, like,
yeah, I don't know. I guess just because I like care about the company and I don't want to screw it up. So it's like very nerve wracking to like, I hope I say the right thing. I hope I'm not too pushy. I hope I'm pushy enough. I hope, I hope I don't
I
say
could draw
something.
a parallel easily. So I have a new hire in an office management role. And just like any new hire, it's the same, exactly what you just said. I want to nail it. I want to do good, but I don't want to mess up, but I don't want to say too much, but I don't want to say too little. I don't want to come off as not knowing all of these things. My advice, and I've, because I've had so many hires over the years in an office setting, though, they tend to stay with us for a long time. We had Lauren, if you happen to be watching, because she's a gutter installer member, and I think she tunes in from time to time. First of all, hi, Lauren, I love you. And second, I'm so sad you left us. And three, same thing with her. It's and she'll tell you the same. I told her this 7 years ago when she started with us. It's like, don't just be you. Just be you. Find the you in you. Be you. Never tell a lie. Don't embellish. Don't mislead the customer as if you know XYZ or you're going to pontificate or speak on roofing or rain gutters. Just tell them I don't know. If you don't know the answer, just say, I'll get right back to you. I'm the best communicator you're going to have. I am the bridge, Mr. Smith. I'm going to make all of this happen for you. I'm the grease, but I got to get right back to you because I don't have the answer to that question, but I know who does. And he's one phone call away. I'm going to call him real quick maybe at the firehouse. And then you jump right back to Mr. Smith. You give him his answer. And he's thrilled, but you're just dead honest. And the guy's like, wow, this girl just was straight shooting, told me she didn't know the answer, but she'd get it. She came right back to me. She had the answer. That's how you also learn, because you're not so stifled and tightened up by trying to be somebody that you're not. You're actually just being you. And by you going out and fetching the answers and bringing them back and stuff, then you retain it and you learn it and you know it. And then all of a sudden, all of these things and you have all the answers. But it doesn't have to be so nerve-wracking and stressful, right? It's just kind of you in a new role. Just be you and just let them know maybe it's a new role and maybe now it's not. But I feel you. Customer service arguably is one of the toughest jobs in the business, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
What about your script? Tell me like how you got better at that. Like, what did it take to get better at that?
It's a good question.
Just practicing, sitting
Like
with
what?
Drew and acting like he's the customer and I'm,
I love
calling him and, of course, I didn't really know anything about gutters when I started, doing this with Drew. So then I had to like research and learn and, going out to the jobs and seeing how he was installing them also helped me with how I can talk with the customer on the phone
Right.
because I would, understand, oh, in the roof valley, the water is going to come down like a waterfall. So we're going to put a splash guard, just little things like that. But just practicing standing in front of a mirror and
Really? You did all of this?
what was
She's
that?
just not. Would you expect anything less? Like she's
No, I
freaking
love it.
amazing.
I love it. I'm
And,
impressed.
like
Yeah.
that, but that's what it takes. I led you down that because I had a hunch that that's what you were doing
Mhm.
because I just
Yeah.
know your personality. You want to win.
She
right?
wants it. Yeah, she wants to
You
go.
don't, you don't get to be married to Drew and not want to win, right? So,
Right.
but that like I just had an amazing woman. This woman is incredibly smart. She's run multiple 9-figure companies in her life. Came to me and she manages like my books. She's like a controller, but she was helping out on the phones and was so consumed with like she'd either had to follow the script to a T or not follow it at all. And I'm like, hey, if you just like practice this, just practice it, you'll find that flow.
Exactly.
And there was no like
We talk about that a lot here. I find a lot of people are mesmerized by like people that could riff and just kind of go off and just speak and make it happen. I think everybody gets so tight and worried about scripts are phenomenal because it gives you that road. It shows you the limits of the road, essentially the borders of the road. But you got to learn how to drive on that road without
Yeah.
that script. But it takes.
it's okay to drink and drive a little bit when you're going down the script, right? So it's not okay to drink and drive. All right, this is a live podcast. It's not okay to drink and drive, but it's okay to swerve down the road a little bit in your script. So.
So you were working with Colin scripts? I'm assuming.
Yes.
Colin.
So I took a little bit of his scripts and then I kind of, put a little bit of our, spin on it, just kind of, how
Perfect.
we've been doing some stuff and it seems to work. So.
All right, now let's get down to the important questions. Do you two fight over work? I don't care about the other stuff. Tell me, hopefully my wife is listening. I got to call my wife and tell her to get on, turn on this live. Do you guys fight about work stuff?
I wouldn't say.
No, she gets on me though if I don't do stuff for sure. Like,
Yeah.
Man, you're lucky, dude.
Right.
yeah, she's like big on appointments because I'll just be like jaw jabbing somewhere
Yeah.
and then like
Yeah.
lose track of time management here. And
That's
If
awesome.
someone schedules an estimate at 9:00 in the morning, you either be early or be there at 9:00 in the morning. They're sitting there waiting on you. They have a whole schedule, a whole day planned. And if you're there at 9:30,
Look at her cracking the whip.
30 minutes of their time.
Yeah, I mean, some of the old schoolers will tell you if you're on time, you're late. You got to be like 10 minutes early.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or at least call them and tell them you're running behind.
Right.
yeah, it's
Because
weird.
traffic here is crazy.
Oh yeah,
So
it's weird.
We have like the new schoolers who are like, they're lucky if I show up.
Oh my God, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I show my age when I get worked up about this, man. This is just unacceptable. This stuff I'm seeing now, unbelievable.
You know what I had to do today is I had an old timer. He's 83 years old. Called us and wanted roofs and gutters. They were roof and gutters, and it was scheduled for 11:00, which we do our gutter launch call every day from 10 to 11:00 Eastern time, right? And so I told the office, like, hey, you got to get a hold of this guy. Like, I'm not going to be there at 11:30 at the earliest. Okay. So I'm running 5 minutes late. I call him up. Hey, I'm running 5 minutes late. Okay, you're good. This dude kept me at his house for 5 hours. Now, I sold a $34,000 project in 5 hours, but I was at his house for 5 hours, and the dude paid me in full up front for his roof and gutters.
I mean, did you have a meal and use his bathroom while you were there?
I used his bathroom 3 times.
That
Like
was
I drink a half-gallon of water always, and I bring it in to my appointments because I never this stuff happens.
What were you doing? One of those epic sits where you're like, I'm not leaving until you sign this contract.
No, it wasn't that at all. Like literally, it was one of those. He's like,
He was an epileptic. He kept falling asleep.
Yeah, he just thought.
But 5 hours, man. What are you guys talking about at that point?
I know this guy's whole life story. Every step of it, I know about his first wife, and I know about his second wife. I know about all their kids, and I had the guy crying because a big part of what we do, like every dollar we get, we give to fighting human trafficking. We have 3 different nonprofits that we support, and I bring that up, and he just starts sobbing. Right? He's like,
"Oh man,
my daughter, I have no idea where she is. I'm sure she's been trafficked." And
oh my god,
I just start thinking about it, and I just start crying, and I'm sure she's dead somewhere. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And I just reach over and pat him on the shoulder, and but it's like, God. So I learned this whole guy's whole life story. But more where I'm going with this is I had another appointment 3 hours into this thing. And I was like, look, hey, sir, I got to make a call real quick. My phone is ringing like 16 times, and you got to call your accountant anyways and move money from your IRA into your bank account. He's like, yep, okay. So we do our thing, and I call up the office, and it's like, I need you to call my appointment. There's no way I'm going to be there. I don't know when. I'll be there at some point. Just tell,
we're talking human today. I am not getting out of here anytime soon.
Right. And showed up to that guy's appointment. He was like, hey, thanks for letting me know. I appreciate it. And he was cool as could be. It was their second home. They're up on vacation, and all was well. But yeah, I get hung up. So I'm with Drew on this one. All right. It's okay to hang out and chat with your customers.
Well, I mean, that's the caveat, right? It's like if you're on site and it's going, you stay. I get that. You call out, but man, 5 hours. I'm just my head's spinning.
Yeah, it was
a 5 hour window. I would, or the calls that get missed. I mean, I'm in a sales capacity too, but I don't know what I would do with myself in a 5 hour block.
Yeah,
jumping out windows.
It was wild. I don't know, it's kind of nice. But anyways, so back to Pamela. I want to dig more into like the woman's role in the industry, because we're seeing it more and more and more and more, where the woman is jumping in, and there's a lot of couples out there where the woman is answering the phones, doing the sales, and the husband is on installs or leading the crew or something like that. And I want to dig into like your experiences when you show up to the customer's house. Like, I had my first ever female rep last year, and she was great. But we had a few instances where people were like, they sent a girl out here or something like that, And I mean, I called the guy and chewed him a new one. Right. And I was like, don't you ever effing call my company again. I chewed him a new one because he was just a total jerk. But yeah, what has your experience been showing up to customers' homes? And I know you're in Southern Georgia, where men are gentlemen usually. So what is your experience like?
So yeah, going into the sales role, I have had a couple people similar scenario where they just kind of look me up and down and are like, do you know what you're talking about? And I'm like, yes, I do. And then as I go on with the estimate, by the end, they're like, okay, yeah, wow, you really do know what you're talking about, And then either, I get the job, or there was one guy, I can't remember now. Maybe it'll pop in my head later, but
I think I remember the older dude and the son was like painting the porch.
Oh yeah,
he was
he was hitting on me a little bit.
That's calling me
the son.
Just hey, pretty lady, or
he was old school too.
Yeah. I don't know. You could take it either way.
Well,
I choose.
It's no different than what you girls get if you're out on the town or
right. Yeah.
Guys,
or,
there's a lot of knuckleheads out there.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I just kind of brush it off, and he's just being whatever. stay
Do you
focused on
feel
that.
you have to like overcompensate on your product knowledge?
Yeah. When they know like details, so they'll ask me like what the gauge of gutter is, expecting me not to know. And then I tell them what it is. Then they like, raise their eyebrows like, oh. Or, when they ask even what the gutter's made out of, I'm like, aluminum.
Paper
Okay.
mache.
Yeah. Or,
Yeah.
just detailed stuff like that. Or, I ask them, do you want the downspout on the front of the house or on the side of the house? Because if you have it on the side of the house, it's a little higher up here. You're not going to get a big puddle. And then they're like, yeah, that's a great idea. Thanks for, pointing that out. So,
Yep.
but, and then there was this one lady who, she didn't even meet me for the estimate. And I was very hesitant to go. But she called the office and was like, yeah, well, she didn't really know what she was talking about. And I was like, I didn't even get to meet you, but okay. Wasn't meant to be. So.
Yep. That's right.
And sometimes, those not meant to be customers are, it's okay.
I find that a woman that's well trained on the product in various products, options, and design layout tend to convert very well because there's just this like just a different spin, even if it's driven by some sort of bigotry or sexism or some weird oddity that potential client has going on in their head. It still can convert. And I'm not saying sell with sex. That's certainly not what I'm saying. My wife is in a sales position, but she will sell her some rain gutter systems because it's just this uniqueness, right? It's this like purple unicorn type of event where the homeowner gets this experience with a lovely lady that knows their stuff and knows how to upsell and talk about various things, and they're a little taken aback. It's a sales tool, if you will, and it converts. You gotta take advantage of it, but it's there. It's a possibility.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to touch again on, just being yourself when you're selling, because at first I was so, I have to say this, this, and this, and this, and I have to be like a robot, and I have to, be very short in and out, but then I kind of switched it and I was like, I'm going to just try to be myself and, ask about, if they have a garden or, if they have, trying to take care of their home and point out the issues and, just have it an easy flow conversation. It has, and then you get jobs accepted like crazy because you care about your customer and you want to solve their problem and you're not there just to, get a job. So
That's right.
you're there to actually help them.
I find women like I know I watch my wife and she'll talk about pets. She'll talk about the dogs. She loves her dog, and so they get talking about dogs. And then if there's a revisit, she's bringing expensive dog treats to the customer, and then that's it. They love her forever. Like you girls have a softness about you where you find angles that we don't see or we don't take advantage of, and whether it's the children or Aunt Betty that comes to visit that she wanted to tell you about or whatever, it's you're right. Be you, be genuine, be authentic, and good things happen.
Right. That's so pivotal. I think you just said something so important that so many people miss out on. I sold it was only $15,000 roof because I kept referencing the dog. The dog's name was Basil, and I kept referencing the dog. And then I wrote a thank you letter, like a handwritten thank you card. I hadn't sold the job yet. I wrote the handwritten thank you and addressed it to the homeowner's name in Basil. I don't even remember the homeowner's name. I remember the dog's name now, right?
Right.
But I was so focused on saying the dog's name throughout because it was just those two. That was it. It was her, single lady with her dog. And she thought the world of me because I noticed her dog, right? Or today, this 5-hour deal, it was a one leg lead. and it was just the guy. His wife was working, and she finally came home, and it was 15 grand more than they were expecting. They were expecting a $20,000 project, and it was 34. And she comes in, and I instantly just went boom. And like their grandson Tyler is very important to her. She's like raised this kid, and I learned a ton. Like she babies him and whatever else. And so I was like, yeah, you know. And Ross was really concerned about having a warranty that can be transferred to Tyler when he buys his house. And instantly she went from like being stoned to like, oh yeah. And then she was my best friend and she loved me.
Sweet.
I just did that one little thing. And I referenced her grandsons, and it was like game changer. So when we focus on those things through our sales process and solving problems for the customer, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you just show up in a robotic, it ain't going to work.
Solving problems is certainly one angle. For me, I always try to find some commonality, to establish some sort of rapport, something. I'm trained to do it subconsciously. I pull in, I'm looking, is there a sports flag outside? Is he wearing a sports cap? What kind of a car is he driving? Is there a basketball hoop? Do they have kids that look like they're my kid's age, that we could talk about that? I was at a job 2 days ago. The guy was limping. I'm like, what's up with that knee? He's like, oh, man, I'm having my knee replaced in 2 days ago. Let's talk. I have both of my knees done. So you just look for a little something. Yep. And then, I'm giving this guy my physical therapist's name and number, scribbling it on a piece of paper. I know I'm going to get the job. Like, this guy loves me. He's like, well, what about the medicine? And what about, I'm giving him the whole rundown on how life's going to go for him.
That's right.
You just got to find commonality before you get to talking about that job. Before you talk about the installation itself, spend 5 minutes to warm them up. Find something you meet on, and vibrate on that for a hot minute, and then let's talk business. And watch when you do something like that, how much more excited they are to talk to you about the project, and how much more committed they are at the end of that day. They might not sign that, or maybe. In my case, when I'm working on the drainage side, I have a lot of work to do in some cases, or design work to do to put something together. But they're my buddy when I leave. They're my Frank, patting me on the back and pinching my ass. It's like, see you later, pal.
that resistance wall just crumbles. Yeah,
for sure.
That's it.
Yeah, I think the whole package too, just like you being yourself, and then the way we carry ourselves too, and our estimates have been like phenomenal lately. From the very beginning, I'm a knucklehead and we goof off. But when it comes down to it, like Pamela said, like the professionalism is like most important, because that's our brand and what we're going for. But just like wearing a polo, looking good, I had to go down to St. Simon's today. We did a big project down there, and I did my like final. There was some discrepancy, so they thought, had everything printed out, had clipboard, had all the signatures, had everything that we agreed on, linear footage. So we did it was like $22,000 job. And that was just for like to repair the people that screwed it up before. Yeah. And that was discussing the project that it's going to end up being like almost $40,000 probably for us to do all the guttering and gutter guards and putting the downspouts in deck, like through the deck, and running pipes and all that stuff. So like it led into that, but like, they were just like, the big hang up was like the wordage was linear footage. They didn't know what linear footage was. Like it just says units in our CRM, and they didn't know. So they assumed that we were going to do the back of these structures and the 2 stories. And I'm like, no, it said here, I sent you guys needed it as this was the thing too. The catcher was as needed. And I was like, well, you need them everywhere, of course, but they were trying to do it in the face. Yeah. Long story short, we had our crap together. Our admin, April, she printed off everything, all the estimates that it was, all the phases that we did. It was repairs and install and guards and all that. And like they had, not like they were going to buck us, but like they didn't.
Yeah. Just really being prepared.
Yeah, we were like over prepared for that. Yeah. And then just like they got to get it approved, but we've already done work for them, so they're going to end up closing that and moving forward with that. So that'll be a good project. So
let's go. Heck yeah.
Yep.
Take that all day.
That's right.
Yeah, me too.
Sweet. So as we get close to wrapping this thing up, what would be you guys' best advice, because I kind of said this on the beginning, or maybe it was on like our first intro that didn't go live. I don't know, but I've never seen you guys fight. You said you don't fight. So what would be if there's a couple listening right now that's like, man, we're just struggling to, be on the same page in this business thing. Like, what is one piece of advice that you would give to them to help them get on the same page?
You go first.
I want one from each of you. One piece of advice from each of you.
Like, before this business, like, we built our relationship on our faith in Christ, and we always go back to that, right? So the importance of it is the mission that we have. Like, you just got to remember the mission. Like, you can't get egos involved, really. You just got to let that go and suppress it, and you got to look at it from, like, step back, just, detach. I think essentially, like, just detach and, like, what are we doing here? Like, what's our mission? What's our goal? Like, we're friends. Like, Pamela's my best friend. I don't know if, I don't know if it's the same. Are we best friends?
Yeah.
But, like, we're buddies, right? We hang out. Like, I married my best friend, and that's what hopefully everybody should have done. It's
Right.
more than, obviously, like, she's beautiful and, such an amazing mother and all that. But the whole root behind it is, like, we're friends. Like, we're buddies. Like,
That's right.
we hang out and we do cool stuff together, and we got awesome kids that are knuckleheads too.
Very cool.
Awesome. That's great. That was baller. Good job, Drew.
Pamela, when you're done wiping your tears and patting that dry, your turn.
So I would just say, don't sweat the small stuff. Everything always works out. Just, like, have a set time to where you cut the business off, and then it's,
I like that.
like 3:00, 3:30 when the kids get home from school, no more business, straight family time. We have kind of set up this, like, nightly routine where, even though he's on shift for a couple days, like, when he gets home, he puts the kids to bed and I have time to do stuff one night. The next night I put the kids to bed and then he does stuff. So we take different roles. And then one of those nights, though, is working on the business, but it's just like one night a week where we both sit down and work on the business.
Nice.
And then, then it's just kind of like, that's kind of where we air it all out and figure a solution if there needs to be something figured out, or we just brainstorm how to get better. But then other than that, it's just, family time.
That's right.
So just having set and then, sticking to that and not letting business stuff affect, like, personal stuff.
Right.
Very inspiring words, you guys. I'm impressed, and certainly you are an inspiration. You should be. A lot of people should look up to the way you frame this out. So kudos, hats off to you.
Or it's maybe just that I'm gone 10 days a month and she gets a break for 2 days at a time. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Well, I mean, I know for me, it's divide and conquer. We live together. I see her every night, or most nights, unless one of us has plans. But we couldn't be together all day because it's just too much. We're both strong personalities, and it's divide and conquer. You go that way, kick some ass. I'm going to go that way and kick some ass. I'll meet you around back, later today. There's no right answers, but you are you're a realist, and you have very clear vision on how to make it sustainable for the family unit. Like, sweet 3:30, like, that's like lunchtime for me.
You can tell what the priority is, right? And the priority is not the business. The business is just a tool for their family to live the life, and that's awesome. So
sure,
that's incredible. Good job,
yeah,
guys.
Yeah, and if this was like diving into it is our everything, but like the fire department definitely sometimes puts things in the back seat, for the business, but we put things in place to where that I can go for 2 shifts. We have amazing lead installers. We have, admin. Pamela literally does it all.
Well done, guys.
So it's
Yeah.
all in
See,
there.
guys at home, you can grow a business and you can be absentee. You can be a firefighter. You could be anything you want to be and still run a business on the side if you have the right tools and implements, whether it be mentors, this show, Colin's program, Gutter Launch. Go out and get you some support there. But I mean, for sure, it can be done. And these two seem like they're happy young bride and husband, and life is good, and they're making some of that extra cheddar. So it can be done, guys. Good job on everything I'm hearing, and I want to see this thing keep evolving and growing.
That's right.
Oh yeah, it definitely will. We're not gonna, let up off the gas. That's for sure.
Nah, too late for that.
No,
That's right.
exactly.
That's right. Well, sweet. Drew, Pamela, thank you both so much for joining us. And
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, that was fun. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. We'll definitely have you back,
that's right.
I'll do it.
Right. All right. We'll see you guys.
everybody.
See y'all.
Have a good night.